Coming up on Crossfire Collectibles, the G.I. Joe Cobra Hannibal Reborn custom figure build and tutorial. Stick around. What's up, and welcome to Crossfire Collectibles. Today's video, we're going to be doing another G.I. Joe custom. This is from the IDW G.I. Joe Cobra Comics, and this will be Hannibal. So, little backstory on Hannibal, if you're not sure who he is. Hannibal is from the IDW G.I. Joe Cobra Comics, first appeared in issue number 9. So he was one of the first clones that were from the process that made Serpentor. He demonstrated like astonishing reflexes and fighting skills, and then when Cobra Commander vanished, Hannibal was groomed to take over as the new Cobra Commander by those unsatisfied with the Baroness interim leadership. And then when Cobra Commander returned, Hannibal was content to remain as a field commander for Cobra Commander, even though he was still a secret member of the Coil, and of course showing their best interests with Cobra in mind. So when he was created, he was put in stasis by Dr. Mindbender. And where it picked up in the comics, sort of with his current ongoing story, Hannibal kind of resembled a teenager. You know, he was like not age altered or anything, while the rest of the clones were all children. So after this group of jugglers, was what they called them, got a hold of the clones, Hannibal was placed into a foster care by some agents who claimed they were his actual parents. So apparently Hannibal retaliated, and the rumor was after finding out the truth, he killed his so-called, fake parents, captured the rest of the clones, and returned to Dr. Mindbender to all have them grow up and join Coil as, I guess, remnants of Serpentor. Hannibal himself, he was named after Hannibal Barca, who was a Carthaginian general and statesman who commanded the forces in Carthage in their battle against the Roman Republic during the Second Punic War. That was during 218 and 201 BC. So real life character, one of the gene pools of DNA that was put into Serpentor was from Hannibal. So a little backstory on the character and the actual true historical figure. So now we're going to go ahead and go over our parts of what we're going to use here. And as you can see, I've got the pile right here in front of me. So first, we'll start with the head. The head is a Hannibal head from Avax Lab. So very cool, nice detail. So I'll just be painting some of this up before we add that on. And now the body itself, minimal figures had to be used for this. I mean, as you can see, obviously there is a Serpentor helmet in the background. If you saw the Hannibal Reborn figure from 2006, that came as part of that 3-pack with Spirit and CoverGirl. Hannibal had, Serpentor's sword and kind of a little dome that he kept Serpentor's actual helmet in. We're going to try to kind of imitate that look of that figure. Not completely, but, for the most part, we are. The rest of the figure, you can see these things right here. We'll get to them at the end because that's pretty cool. I'll tell you about that. But the body itself, so that would be the upper and lower torso or waist area, is from General Clayton Hawk Abernathy version 4 from the 2009 Rise of Cobra single card release. So we've already done the boil and pop. We have the upper torso front and back here, and the lower torso here, which I've already tried to attach the legs to just to make sure they would fit, and they do, so we're good with those. And now the rest of the parts are all also from one figure, and they are from the Cobra Commander version 43, also a 2009 Rise of Cobra single card release. So here you have the coat. Obviously both upper and lower legs, as well as the feet, and the upper and lower arms and hands. I thought about taking some hands that were on Hulk, just in case I ever wanted to pop out, the gloves and have like a gloveless look. But going through the comics, he pretty much had gloves on the whole time, so we'll just stick with that. So that's our parts for here. Now for the rest of it, you saw these right here. These are actually swords from Boss Fight, so I thought they fit perfectly. Now, I looked up the Carthaginian weapons that they used during the First and Second Punic Wars. A lot of Roman-style weapons, and I was like, geez, man, I don't want to use that Serpentor sword. I just don't like it. I think it's too bulky. But I was like, you know what? I have this Alex Nicolaitis figure from Vitruvian Hacks Series Z, and I'll go ahead and bring him in right here, show you a little bit. So here he is. Here's a carded image. He comes with a bunch of these, you know, old Roman style weapons. So he's got his spear right here, and he came with a pair of swords. And if I wanted to get fancy with it, I could try to bring, you know, the helmet in, kind of Spartan look. But this figure's weapons were perfect. So he is definitely going to probably be dual wielding these two swords here. They're nice and bloody. If you liked the little intro I did at the beginning of the video, it just shows that, you know, Hannibal is pretty much a cold-blooded, doesn't care who you are, killer, and he will just splatter the blood everywhere. So anyways, you want to pick him up, I think he's still available on Boss Fight, so check him out. Now, on to our paints we're going to use. So as you watched my custom videos before, you can see that I use a lot of Gundam markers, and that's exactly what we're going to do for this. So for our leg color, we're going to go with kind of a blue jean look, and we're going to use this kind of bluish purple gray, I guess you want to call it. That's a Gundam marker GM13, so we'll be using this for the pants. Our black, we'll be using Gundam marker GM301, so we'll have some areas to color in, probably on the arms, the coat, and a little bit on the chest. Not too much, but we might just go over it fully just to have it done. Be doing that. Here's our Real Touch pink, and this will be for the lips. Here's a Gundam marker Real Touch black. This will be for the hair and eyebrows. Gundam marker Real Touch yellow. And this will be, I'm going to try to get in on his eyes with this color. Kind of just to give it the more Serpentor look. Not comic Serpentor, but like new classified Serpentor, how he actually has like serpent looking eyes. And I'm going to try to get that kind of color in there. I don't think I can do the slits, but you know, we'll try to get close. And then we have a Gundam black fine point. This will be for pupils and eyelashes. Maybe a couple little features we got to get in. Might even do the eyebrows with this one. And like always, we have our white highlight pen for the whites of the eyes. At the end, we might need this, and this is a Gundam marker GM502, which is a matte clear coat. So in case some of the stuff appears a little glossy, I'll go over it with a nice once over with this, and it should be nice and matte. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get this started. But first, please subscribe to the channel. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and kick this off with some paint. So we'll bring in our plate here. What to do first? I think we're going to start with the legs. So we don't need to do the boots. I'm going to leave them black. And then we just kind of have to do the pant leg. So I'm going to have to take each of these off and do this, I guess separately. But we'll try to fit all of this together in one shot. Do a time lapse and go on to the next while these dry. So first, we'll break out the GM13, give it a shake, and we'll start painting. All right, so there we go. We got our legs painted. One good thing is that even though we have to go back over the two outer thighs, this paint looks like it's drying pretty fast. So we're gonna go ahead and attempt to pick one of these back up and test it. So yeah, so by the time we moved on to one of the other pieces, you know, one of the others was pretty much almost dry, so that's excellent. So I'm gonna finish these off, and then we're gonna move to the lower torso and get that lower part colored in with this so it matches the pants. Okay, that's all done. So now we're gonna move on to our lower torso. All right, there we go. So I think we got this piece done. I still got to decide if I'm going to leave that belt black or add a color to it, but I likely will do the buckle. So I mean, I should have had a color out for that, and I wasn't even thinking. So we'll probably go ahead and smack it with a little bit of GM05, which is a Gundam silver. So we'll probably throw that on there. But now we're gonna go ahead and set that down and let that dry. So I don't think the head is gonna be too bad. You know, we just have the eyes to do, a little bit of the face detail. The hair is gonna take the longest to color in. But all the black on the rest of the figure, I think we can leave the coat alone, except for around the Cobra logo, and I think another spot on the arm over here. But I don't know if we can get that off, so I think I'm just going to leave it on, leave it like that. But I do want to take the black and go ahead and try to, I guess, just cover up that Cobra logo a bit. And if it comes out, you know, a little too noticeable, then we probably will just color the whole coat black. But let's test it. All right, as you can see, we did color a little area around the Cobra logo. It's bleeding through a bit, so we'll have to do a few coats on it. And the black is, to me, a little more obvious than the rest of the coat. So we'll have to color that in. And I think I'm just going to take a really dark gray to color in, you know, the lining of the inside of the coat. So this is all going to take a moment, so bear with us. I'll just speed this up super fast, but it's going to take me a minute to do. All right, there we go. I think that's a decent once over around the coat. We're going to set that down for a few minutes and let that kind of dry a bit before we go on to the inner lining. But I want to bring these arms out, and we kind of got to match them. So I'll go ahead and get these done real fast. They shouldn't take too long. So there we go. We have both arms done. I don't think that the coat is entirely dry yet. It's still giving me a little black on my fingers. But we do need to take this black and put a little bit on the upper chest. So I'll bring that piece out and show you why, because it does have that little G.I. Joe logo on it. So I think our best option is to probably try to color that in unless I can scrape it off. So I'm going to try a couple different things here. First with the X-Acto knife to see if I can scrape it off. And if it doesn't look like it's working, I might just try the acetone and then go over it a little bit with the black. Yeah, so the X-Acto knife is not taking it off, so we are going to try the acetone. Alright, so here we have our little bit of acetone, and we have a Q-tip. So I'm going to carefully just dab the tip of the Q-tip into the acetone. Get it over a dry spot on the plate, and lightly just kind of take that off. Just like that, as you can see, the logo is now gone. We'll take a little bit of the dry end just to go around and kind of pick up any of the extra acetone, because it is going to leave it a little glossy looking. Probably another spot we can dab just to get that off. So very quick process, and that is done. So we do have another Q-tip here that has some water on it, and we're going to go over it just to neutralize the acetone. You can do this with any figure really, just be very careful. Dab it so you don't, you know, take off too much of the paint, because it will eat directly into it. As you can see, that logo is gone, and we are good with our upper torso now. We don't have to do anything else with that. Unless we want to paint on the skull that Hannibal has on his shirt. And I don't know if I want to do that, but I think I actually am going to attempt it. So, while we're going to wait on some of this stuff to dry, we do have to probably assemble our legs. But first, I want to go ahead and go in and get some of that belt buckle done. So we're going to take our silver, quick little shake, and a dab. And we'll color that buckle in really quick. There we go. Like I said, really quick, pretty simple. Just give it a good once over, let it sit and dry, and I think that's all we need for the silver. So as I mentioned with the inside of the coat, we're probably going to go with a dark gray And here I'm going to bring out another marker, and we have Gundam marker GM190, which is a dark gray. So we'll give that a shake. Now this will probably take maybe the longest to dry. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the inside of the coat lining and try to coat as much as we can. All right, there we go. We got the inside coated with the dark gray, and now we're gonna go ahead and set that down. You can see my fingers, the black's not entirely dry, but it also will do that regardless of when it is dry, and it'll get a little bit on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly wash this off my hands, then we're gonna come back and we're gonna probably do the head. All right, so while they continue to dry, we got our Q-tip. We're gonna go ahead and start on the head. So we're gonna jam this Q-tip up into his head socket, and then like usual, we'll start with the eyes. For that, we need our white highlight marker, and we'll get started. All right, nice good coat of the white. Sorry, we had a little bit of blur right there, but we got that on. So now we're gonna go ahead and touch that white up and scrape off any excess before we do the outlines of the, I guess, the eyelashes, and then put the color in the eye. All right, so there we go. We had a few obstacles in the eye sockets, so we had to go scrape around just a little bit more than expected, but they're on, and I think it's a good start. So now we're gonna go ahead and get out our black fine point, and we're gonna do the eyelashes. All right, so I did go over just a little bit. So we went ahead and just put the pupils in, and I think I'm just gonna leave them black. That's gonna be fine. I don't have to worry about putting that blonde color in there. I just don't think he has enough eye area to actually do that, but the black looks good. So while we still have this out, I'm gonna go ahead and attempt the eyebrows with the fine point instead of using the Real Touch. We'll get that done, and then we'll add some lip color. All right, so we gotta touch up that left eyebrow some. Went a little over, but it shouldn't be hard. All right, that's kind of okay. I do now like the left eyebrow better than the right, so we're gonna see if we can't touch that right one up just a bit more. So we got our eyes done, and now we're gonna go ahead and bring out our pink to give a little bit of color in the lips. All right, never go overboard. Usually just do a little dab here and run it through, and that should do it. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead, bring in our Real Touch black, and we're gonna do the hairline. Get some of them extra strands, go around the ears, and then we'll finally color that in to end it. So this will take a few. All right, there we go. So went over all that in black. Did a quick second run over it with just to give it a little bit of a touch up. It's got that nice kind of shiny, oily look, and I'm pretty happy with it. So it's good. So now we need to set this aside and let that dry for a few moments, because that's going to take a few. I don't want the black bleeding on anything that I touch. But while we wait on that, we can go ahead and start assembling the figure. All right, so we got our feet right here. So this will be our right leg, this will be our left. We have to move these closer to each other because it's not quite gonna work if they're spread out like that, especially when I'm building up from the bottom. So getting that knee, and we'll probably have to touch up a little bit on the back of the knees with that blue-gray color that we have, but it shouldn't be a problem. And now, let's see, go ahead and bring in our waist. So that's the lower torso. I believe this is the inner thigh. So go ahead and pop that in right here. lower right leg. And spin this around. We do need our little jelly piece here, just to place in there like that. And line them up. And hopefully they'll pop in with no issues. Alright, there we go. One leg on. So we'll grab a screw. And we'll just do the same with the second. So get our upper inner left thigh, place in right there. Feed that through the lower left leg. And then bring in our outer upper leg. And then pop it on. Actually, undo that so we can get in there and get that screw. Alright, there we go. So he's got his legs. They feel good. They're nice and tight. So let's go ahead and slap him back onto his stand. And now, gotta get the upper torso on. So I do want to kind of paint that skull on his chest here, but I think we need to go ahead and assemble it first. So what we're gonna do is take our arms and place them in each side. Set this back so you can see it because I gotta lay it down. So we'll go ahead and get them arms in like that. We'll get this little piece on the top of there. And we'll go ahead and bring in some glue. For this, I'm going to use a Loctite Ultra Gel Control Super Glue. So this works pretty well. You just have to hold it for a minute so it dries, but give a little squeeze at the top. That should do it. Arms kind of popped off when we were doing that, but it's okay. Get them popped right on back in. My main concern is I want this to hold while I'm bringing this up to put it on. So we'll line up those pieces and then squeeze them together. And this is like almost a perfect fit, so I was really happy with it. During the boil and pop process, you know, the chest popped really easily. You know, it heard the single crack. I knew it was done and just pulled it apart with my fingers, you know, with a little bit of force, and it came right apart. One of the pegs broke off, but you know, that's average normal things that always happens. But we'll just hold this for a few seconds. All right, that should be enough time. Get these arms a wiggle, see how they're doing. That one got a little glue on it, but it popped right off, so good to go. And we're looking good. So like I said, I think I'm gonna attempt to do this skull. So if you guys don't know what I mean, here's a picture of it. I have a little picture off to the side over here, so I'm gonna look at that as some reference. And we're gonna attempt to draw it on his chest. So for that, I don't know what we're gonna use besides our white highlight pen. And I'm gonna get some glasses out for this so I can get in nice and close and see what I'm doing. And hopefully we can do this in one attempt. So wish me luck. And here goes. All right, so there we go. That's not a perfect skull, but I think it'll work. I did do a few things kind of on purpose, like leave some lines in there to kind of give more of an outline of the I guess the features in the skull itself. It's not totally center, but neither was the one in the comic. It was a little off here and there. But anyway, I think that will work. I'm gonna turn this to the side so I don't hit that, and wipe off a little of that white that I got on there. Just like that. So that's all the touch up we need for that. And now I'm actually gonna sit back and let this dry for a few. So we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back to put on the rest of him and gear him up. All right, so I think I've given it a little bit to dry. Now we're gonna go ahead and bring this coat in, give it a feel, so far so good. And now we have to get that coat on. Oh, got a little bit of stiffness in that arm. That's okay. My main concern is I'm worried that he might pop back open, like maybe I didn't put enough glue on there. So I think we'll be all right. But we're gonna go ahead and slide these arms in and get that coat fed onto him. All right, there we go, coat's on. I'll go ahead and get the plate out of here. So there we have our body. It doesn't look like any of the gray on the inside rubbed off on the arms, which is excellent. So that's one thing I was also worried about, but we're good to go. I didn't have to get it on his chest, and I tried to avoid it as much as possible to, you know, touch it and get it any scratched up or anything. But now we're gonna go ahead and bring out our head, which should be good to touch. And get that Q-tip off, and then go ahead and place our head. Head on. So far so good. And now we just need some final touches. Just to show you a couple other weapons I had. You know, I had a little mace. I had this kind of machete here. Little knuckle knife. And an Uzi. But so I think I'll keep him a little more traditional to his Carthaginian heritage and just give him the swords. So we'll go ahead and pop one into his left hand. I like how they're bloody too. That's awesome. And then we'll get the larger one in his right hand. Like that. There we go. Bring in the Serpentor helmet. Set that at his feet. And there is our custom G.I. Joe Cobra Hannibal Reborn figure. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and pop him up onto the turntable and give you some final thoughts.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Be sure to check out our previous videos. A link will always be pinned in the comments.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Alright, here you have it. This is our custom G.I. Joe Cobra IDW Comics Hannibal Reborn figure done in modern style. This was a fun build, quicker than I thought it would be, and I think it's mainly just due to the black, you know, parts of his clothing that I just had to basically do a once over on. The decal on the shirt, you know, came off simple with a little bit of acetone. Finding that boss fight figure aside and thinking about it, like, oh, you know what, we have something here that's might work for the weapons, and that what is it, Alex Nicolaitis figure works perfectly. So you see the swords, you know, very, you know, Roman style, Spartan, whatever you want to call them, Carthaginian. I always have trouble saying that one. And, you know, now and then I might go ahead and take this spear and give it to him, you know, just to show the more brutal, relentless kind of dismembering he wants to do on people, because I think that would be really cool to add. The process overall was like, it came out great. The paint was drying pretty good. The black, you know, got a little bit on my finger still, but it dried pretty quick. I think the one thing I wasn't really happy with the most was that skull. I would have preferred a nice water decal I could have printed out from online and placed it on. But, you know, if you look at the comics, every page it shows of Hannibal with the skull shirt, the skulls are all different. So I just went in, and it was kind of hard to do with a ballpoint white highlight pen. But I got the job done. I'm satisfied with it. It's not the best work, but, you know, it's whatever. It'll do for now, and I'm happy with it. But anyways, that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little custom tutorial, build, review, everything of the assembly of our Hannibal Reborn figure. Find a nice spot for him on my shelf, and he's going to fit in nicely. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please, like always, leave that giant thumbs up, subscribe, tickle that bell so you know when we post future videos. Be sure to follow us on social media, and I have an idea to maybe do the next custom live. What do you guys think? If you watch this, let me know, leave me a comment. I'm thinking about going live and just opening up to the comments and hearing you guys, as you know, there's time in between when things are drying and stuff like that. It'd be good to talk to you guys, get some pointers, let me know what you all think. But anyways, leave a comment, let me know, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.